What an outstanding half of basketball. 71-52 Sacramento. De'Aaron Fox, just unbelievable with 22 points. Monk off the bench with 14. You had Lyles off the bench with 15. I got to tell you, I don't want to get ahead of myself here because you got another half left and you got a game against Cleveland. This could go down as one of the best road trips in Kings history. I mean,
yeah, if they win,
really
if they win tonight, I believe it ties the franchise record for most wins on a road trip. So think about that for a second. Some of the teams that have been in this organization. So huge statement for them if this does go down.
Yeah, now I would also say it's not every year that you go on a 7-game road trip. As a matter of fact,
Fair.
In all my years of doing the Kings games, I can only remember 2 occasions where we had more than 6 games on a road trip. So, you got to keep that in mind too. All right. But yes, you're exactly right. This is a second night of a back-to-back, which has been a real problem for Sacramento this year. No problem at all in this game. I mean, this team has looked fresh right from the get-go. Again, I just love the way they're playing right now. I mean, this is a team that is taking care of business,
Grant, I said on the pregame show that I wanted to see at least 30 points in the paint and 10 free throw attempts in the first half because the three-point shot is going to be there anytime during the game. If you have an advantage in the paint, bleed it until it is dry. And for whatever reason, that light has gone off with this team, and I love it.
9 of 18 from 3. All right. Tell me about this stat. In the first half, the Kings had 24 assists. Think about that for a minute.
Incredible.
Yep. All right.
Incredible.
Speaking of incredible, we got Jerry Reynolds with us. Jerry, I mean, I don't know if you can play much better than I just watched in that first half. That was a tremendous half for Sacramento.
Really was. I mean, there's just a few things. The only thing I could see was 3 or 4 really just careless turnovers, but the bench was terrific. Obviously, the starters, the ball's moving. Fox has just been absolutely brilliant. You just can't play any better. But I love the defensive, the switching, really helping out, getting hands in the passing lanes.
Yep.
Oh, that's quality basketball we saw that first half.
Jerry, De'Aaron Fox, 7 steals last night. The Kings in the first half, I believe they had 7 steals. Can the Kings be a bad defensive team, but find a way to be really good at one thing defensively and still come out okay at the end of the day?
Well, I think it's a good point. I mean, I think they've got a chance to be better in some areas, and I've always thought, I mean, with the quickness that they do have, that more ball pressure, taking more chances on guarding guys on the perimeter, basically challenging them. And we're seeing that the last few games. And I mean, De'Aaron Fox has got the ability to be a great defender. And, I mean, certainly Keegan is outstanding. Domas, really for a big, is not particularly good protecting the rim, but he's a terrific at guarding wings and helping out. I mean, probably better than any other center in the league when you really get down to it.
Well, and the Kings really, with that nice burst at the end of the half, not to let the Bulls feel any momentum going into the locker room. I like the way the Kings finished the half. Again, we're talking about a team last night and again tonight that's scoring over 70 points in the first half. That's going to win you a lot of games.
It really is. And I really give a lot of credit to Mike Brown really going to his bench a little bit earlier. Davion Mitchell, I think, has been quite good here the last several games, and he made that one play, which nobody else on the floor could have made. So, hey, it's all good right now, but you're on the road. And they do have a lot of talent on this team. I mean, certainly DeRozan and Vucevic are proven all-stars on several occasions, and then Kobe White's really coming into his own with Levine injured, and they'd actually played better without Levine until, overall. So there's that.
And I want to go back to some folks that are hitting us up on the chat line about the Kings have never done this and never done that. Very rarely do you ever have a 7-game road trip in a season. So the numbers that people are putting on the line, they're not relevant. All right. You don't have 7-game road trips very often. Again, I can only remember 2 times in my 32 years where we had a 7-game road trip. And one of them was because one of the games was added due to a postponement. So don't get too caught up in, gee, this is the first time they have a chance to, again, a lot of you people out there,
Well,
it's not relevant. You don't have 7-game road trips very often.
no, you sure don't. And then actually, the number of teams that are capable of winning 7 in a row on the road is pretty minuscule. And
Yep.
I mean, even the best teams in the league are going to, like I've said many times, and it's true. You can go back and check if you don't believe me, but I mean, to have a winning record on the road itself is a mark of a good team. The championship caliber teams, might win 26, 27 on the road out of the 42. That's pretty much a high mark.
Well, no negatives right now. No injuries. Everyone's playing well. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, yeah, you could once again point to missed free throws, which last night was very puzzling. What are the Kings? 6 of 9 from the line again. I don't understand why this team is such a poor free throw shooting team, especially like Fox last night. Was terrible at the line, even though he had a tremendous game. Jerry, we keep on talking about this. How does a guy like De'Aaron Fox struggle so much at the line? There's really no reason for it.
No, I mean, I think it gets in guys' heads. I mean, we saw Malik Monk go through a stretch where he couldn't make one. I mean, he's been an 80-some percenter for his career. I always kind of equate it to, maybe silly, to golf, how some great golfers will go through periods where they miss 3 and 4 foot putts a lot. I mean, it is a touch thing, and you're up there all by yourself. And but like I say, Fox was shooting about 80% of his free throws until about the last month, and he's been about 65 or something. So you hope it, and usually it does turn around. I mean, Domas went through a bad stretch, and then lately he's been shooting at, he's been about the best free throw shooter on the team. So there's that. I don't know what you can do other than just hang with guys and say, keep practicing them and shoot and step up and shoot them with confidence.
All right, I got the Kings winning this game tonight, 130 to 112, and I think their scoring will taper off a little bit in the second half, but I think the Kings will win this game rather easily.
The 3-ball will not win the Kings the ball game in the second half, but it certainly could lose them the ball game. But that being said, because Chicago 24th in the league shooting the 3, they're not going to come back. I'm going to say Kings 135, Chicago 104.
Okay.
I'm saying Kings 128, Chicago 111.
Because, last night the scoring did taper down in the second half when we saw a very high scoring half. What was it, 71 to 64 last night, and things slowed down. But I look at matchups. There's no reason to think that the Bulls are going to come back. As you said, Ryan, you make a great point. They're not a very good deep shooting team. So, when you're down by this much, and again, I know that a 19-point game is not the end of the world in the NBA, but the style factors into it. If you're playing the Warriors and you're down or up 19, it doesn't mean anything. When you're playing the Bulls and you're up 19, that's a pretty significant lead.
Well, and too, the Bulls really don't have a good bench. Obviously, injuries are part of it, but even if everybody's healthy, they wouldn't run the. So that I think will be a factor as well. So the Bulls really have to have all of their key guys have a strong half at the same time.
And don't forget, we will be on with you right after the game, and we will break it down for you as the Kings with this mammoth road trip. 1 game left against the Cleveland Cavaliers, but it's already been a very good road trip, and you can make it from a good road trip to a great road trip. All right. I mean, even if you win tonight and lose against Cleveland, it's still a great road trip. You go 5-2 on a 7-game trip. I don't care who you're playing. I don't care the level of competition. That's a great road trip.
Great road trip. And, the only thing I got to see what you guys think, though. Seems like to me the officials have bailed out the Bulls. I mean, DeRozan is just tripping over his feet and falling down. I mean, they've got a couple of bailouts like that. I just call them pity calls. And even the one that was a challenge. It's like, I don't care. They said it was that Keegan fouled him. Well, he didn't. He's trying to get out of the way. So anyway, well, I got that out of my system. I feel a lot better now. I appreciate it.
You're going to be able to sleep tonight now that you got that out of your system. I'm happy you did that, Jerry.
Well, I needed to. I appreciate it.
Well,
by the way,
yeah, go ahead.
By the way, Reynolds Rant, anybody that wants to sponsor Reynolds Rant at halftime, you hit us up. That is still up in the air. If you would like
I can rant. I can rant.
There you go.
I mean,
They say
I'm not at the Napier caliber. I'm not.
No.
I understand my place. You got to stay in your lane.
They also, I read that once you turn 80, ranting on a regular basis is extremely beneficial for your well-being. So that makes me very happy to hear you do that.
Well, like I say, I just follow my hero Clint Eastwood. Man's got to know his limitations.
And Clint's, see, Jerry, and Clint's in his 90s, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's in his 90s. And, of course, he's starting to show it too. But then again, hey, that's the way it works. We can't be pretty forever, Grant.
No, you can't. Clint's got he's got a rather wide lead on all of us here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So there's really not much else to talk about. This was a tremendous half. Bench, Monk, Lyles. I mean, all right. This is now the second game in a row that Keegan Murray's not doing anything offensively, but because of the way he's been playing defense and the other things, do you kind of turn your head the other way when you look at his offensive production?
Yeah, because he's really not. He hadn't turned down any shots. The shots have been there for others. I think that's really a key. Is just here again, stay in your lane. If it might be that he'll get 8-10 shots here in the second half and go on a run. That's certainly. I mean, Domas really wasn't looking to score. I think he ended up with 8 points, but no, that's what good offense is. Just take what the defense gives you, and I think that's how they're playing.
You make a great point. He only took 3 shots. Sabonis only took 5 shots, and I think that's another important aspect of what we're seeing now. They understand who has a hot hand. All right, that's Fox. That's the players like Monk and Lyles, and so yeah. I mean, think about this. You scored 71 points and a half where, your best player or second best player only took 5 shots in Sabonis. I mean, think about this. Your starting front court only took a combined 12 shots in that first half, and yet you have 71 points. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's good offense. I mean, like I say, that's moving the ball. That's finding the hot hand. That's the bench coming in and contributing. So, that's about, that if you like good basketball, you saw it in the first.
You're starting Grant. You're starting front court 6 points, but they're a plus 24.
How about that? Yeah. Well, all good. We'll talk to you after the game, Jerry. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a fun show afterwards. I know you will.
Yeah, we're going to be lighting the beam hopefully in about an hour. See you then, everybody.